We are live.
Hey everybody, Dr. Barnsley Brown here, and I am super excited because just on the spur of the moment, one of my dear friends and colleagues, Haley Gray, who is a tech mess fixer, has come on with me to practice doing an interview here on StreamYard. We're so excited. And Haley is one of the most interesting people that I know in business because she's involved in many leadership positions. She has a networking group called WIN. And I'm just going to give you a second, Haley. First of all, welcome, but a second to just share a bit about what you do and some of the incredible leadership positions that you fill and share with the world.
Sure. I founded Women's Entrepreneur Network almost 8 years ago now, and it is a community of 76,000 women strong. And I did that because women need more women to support each other in our businesses. And we're all about resources and support and just putting it all out there. And then I own a digital marketing agency, Intuitive Biz Solutions, and we're really here to do marketing that makes sense. I joke about I'm a tech mess fixer upper, the uncluster gaggle of fixer. A lot of our clients come to us and, we'd rather that we not start as a mess, but the reality is this week we had a client who came to us because somebody had taken a bunch of her money and not done the funnel and summit setup that she had said she was going to do, and put her behind the 8 ball. And, that's the thing is that there's a lot of people out there that say that they're going to do stuff and they promise the sun, the moon, the stars, and the sky. And I swore when I left corporate 8 years ago, or actually 10 years ago now, that I'd never write another line of code again. And really a lot of what we do is cleaning up messes, websites that are half done, funnels that are half there, summit stuff, and then getting the client back on the right track and making a ton of money and doing what they need to do and doing what they do best and taking all the frustration away.
I love that, Haley, because truthfully, we need to understand that we're not going to all be good at everything. In fact, we're going to suck at certain things. And why would I spend hours and hours trying to figure out something tech-wise when I could just have you come in and fix it? I mean, it's a no-brainer. And you could fix it probably in 10 minutes.
Frequently, that is misconception. It's frequently not 10 minutes when things are really messed up, honestly. It is still a lot of hours for us, unfortunately, but we do manage to figure out where the problems are and straighten them out.
And if I were trying to do it on my own, it would take me at least 3, 4, 5 times the amount of time to do it. So
usually it's about 10x.
Love that. Love that. Well, yeah. So why do that? Why not focus on what we're best at and what we can share with the world, our biggest mission and our vision and what we have to give, instead of, I see a dog. And is that a dog or a cat?
Dog.
Oh, so cute.
That's the one that ate the hole in the couch.
Oh, yeah. You saw my post.
That one.
Yeah.
I did.
Manchita took care of, God, Haley, I don't know what I was thinking. It was after my brother died and my daughter was like, I want another dog. I want a puppy. I want a puppy. And I was in a moment of grief and just out of it. And I said, okay, we'll call the Burlington shelter, which is where we got our other dog. And I said, let's call. And they said, oh, we have a dog that was just brought back today. First problem. Because the dog was 1 year and so cute.
They're very cute. Well, Amy is adorable.
Behaviors. She is cute. And you know what, Haley, I was just in this space. I was like, yeah, let's bring her home. Let's bring her home. And, we've talked about releasing her. We've looked for a farm where she could run with horses because she has so much energy. but she stayed with us and she's gotten better. She's gotten better,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, mine has gotten a lot better. Training, dog daycare,
Yeah.
daily trips to the dog park,
Mm.
lots of good walks. I mean, the walking has been good for us too.
Well, Haley, I did something kind of interesting at the beginning of the year. Well, actually, back in November, I booked with the dog daddy who I'd seen on TikTok. And he takes the worst dogs, dogs that will literally maul you. I mean, they are aggressive, awful dogs, and dogs that are anxious with other issues, but he turns them around. And I just was like, yeah, we got to go. He's in Charlotte. Yeah. So we went, we took Buddy and we took Manchita. And I will tell you, by the end of his little bit of time with them, the first time, I was able to walk them both without having my shoulder dislocated all around
Mhm.
with all sorts of dogs, fluffy little dogs, big dogs. You know, it was freaking amazing. Hey, Karma, I'm glad you're here. We got some
It's
people here.
amazing
Woo-hoo!
what happens when when you work with training.
Yeah.
Humans are kind of that way too,
Well, you know what, Haley? The training is not for the dogs, it's for the humans.
Mm-hmm. I
I'm
know.
so clear on that because literally I was going over there and I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. And of course, my daughter was like, I'm cold. So I'm going back to the car. So I had both of them. And I'm thinking, oh, 4-letter word. What am I going to do? But
Mm-hmm.
he's such an expert, the dog daddy. Those of you who are having issues with your dogs, check out the dog daddy. But back to you, Haley. So tell us all a bit more about the Women's Entrepreneurial Network.
It's a community for business owners, for women who are entrepreneurs, who are business owners, from newbie on up to the most experienced business
Mm,
owner. It's a networking environment, and we actually do live networking events every week now. So the group itself is free. So joining is free, networking, connecting with people is free. Um, we have one visitor day a month for the networking group, and
I
we
think you
do a
have one
ton
coming
of
up next
connecting
week,
people.
right? You have
On the
one coming up.
21st, we do.
Yeah. Okay. Can you drop in the chat the information for everybody who's watching now or who's going to watch later? And this is a guest day, is that right?
It is a visitor day. Yep. And it's
Hmm.
a lot of fun to connect and do the things and grow and, all of the stuff that needs to happen when growing a business. Because, here's the thing. I think a lot of times we forget that we need support in growing our businesses. I hear a lot of times, I'm not getting network traffic, or I'm not getting traffic to my website, or I'm not getting customers, or I'm struggling, or a lot of those things, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of it is
Yeah.
because I go and I look at somebody's Facebook profile or their LinkedIn, and you've
Yeah.
got like 10 connections, maybe. And here's the
Mm.
thing, if you are not connected to people, if
Hmm.
you don't have network, if you don't have a reputation, it
Hmm.
is really, really hard to get customers, to get clients off of social media. I mean, if you don't have anybody following you, if you're not talking to anybody, if you're not connecting to anybody, if you're not building relationships, if you're not building reputation, it's
Yeah.
really hard. And that's a large part of why I started growing my group, because what I learned in my first business, which was a senior home care agency, and I
Hmm.
posted the link in the private chat,
Beautiful.
um, is that, it's all about who you know, not what you know. And I believe that almost any business can be successful, even if you're really lousy at sales, if you
Yeah.
know enough people, if you are connected to enough people, if you have the best relationships with enough people. Because when I
As
owned my
they
home care
say.
agency, that's how my business grew. Was a lot of the
Hmm.
moms in my Girl Scout troops were referring to me, and I
Yep.
got referrals from people that I had previously worked with, and all of those types of things happened for me because I had built those connections. Um, it's so real. And if you're starting a business and you don't have the luxury of having been a Girl Scout troop leader for umpteen gajillion years, and you
Yeah.
haven't been volunteering actively in the community, and you haven't been doing those things, networking, live networking, and building connections with people is one of the fastest ways to getting clients.
Okay, Haley, I got to pause you for a second. Okay, so I'm reminded as you are telling all of this, as you're sharing all of this, that your network is your net worth, right?
Absolutely.
And truthfully, when I started my business, it was September 11th, 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was such a novice, right? I was coming out of academia. I had never had my own business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I learned so fast that relationships were everything. Because truthfully, when we know someone and they open a door for us, it's so much easier. I mean, why would anybody cold call when your success rate with a cold call is 1 out of 100? One out of 100, right? So why am I going to sit there and make 100 cold calls when I could simply ask somebody I really like, I trust them, I appreciate them, I connect me. And especially with LinkedIn, we can see all the connections that people have. Ask them to connect me with the person I would like to meet. But people waste such time trying to, do transactional business, cold calling, passing out business cards. Oh my God, if you pass me a business card when we go to networking, do you know where it goes? It doesn't
in the
even make it
trash.
to the recycle bin. It doesn't make it to the recycle bin. The
Mm-hmm.
truth matters.
No, and I've seen a lot of people who go to networking meetings and the first thing they do is they start handing out their business cards to everybody. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know you from Adam. Why would I buy from you?
I'm going to line my cat
it's just
box
the
with
first. Yeah, exactly. It's just the first conversation that I'm having with you. So the best tip I can give you, if you're coming to a networking meeting, if you're coming to Women's Entrepreneur Network, is be visible, connect with people, go to live networking events, and then book one-to-one calls with people out of those events and connect to people on LinkedIn and Facebook where possible and continue the conversation. And don't expect it to be a one and done kind of thing. I've known some people 5, 6, 7 years before they actively started referring to me until they totally clicked in that A, they could trust me, B, that I actually knew what I was doing in business because I'd proven that I knew what I was doing in business, because there's a lot of scammers out there in my industry. There are a lot of charlatans out there that will take your everlast dollar and sell you a website that you didn't need in the first place, or SEO, and then they'll completely get you blacklisted by Google.
Let me pause you and say SEO, search engine optimization. I call it slimy engine optimization for those people who are all the charlatans, right? There are people who know how to do this, like Haley, but there are people who just are going to charge you, 5, 6 or more thousand, and they're not going to do anything. And literally you can post some videos and have better results. Yeah, I love, Haley, what you said about when you go to networking, connect with people and schedule one-on-ones. I was just talking with my Make It Happen Mastermind clients, and I was saying, look, in business, we have high payoff activities and we have low payoff activities. The trick is if we have a low payoff activity we want to keep doing, we need to make it a high payoff activity. So for example, if you go networking and you leave there and you're like, yay, that was fun, but you don't connect and you don't schedule a one-on-one with somebody who could be a referral partner or a potential client, then you've just thrown your time down the toilet. Every time, whether it be a meditation group, a whatever you're doing, animal rescue group where you go to volunteer, make sure that you connect with at least 1 to 3 people and schedule up a follow up. Maybe you'll go for a meal. Maybe you'll go for a coffee. Maybe you'll just meet on Zoom for 30 or 45 minutes. And guess what? You'll know energetically who to connect with. Stop wasting your time in those bullshit one-on-ones. You know what I'm talking about, Haley, where it's like, well, when I can think of somebody who could use your services, I'll refer them. No, 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 no. Choose carefully. Your body, your energy will tell you who is on a similar path, who is on a similar wavelength, and then you can
Mhm.
connect.
Yeah. And I mean, I go to the dog park every day with my El Destructo puppy. Um,
I love that.
I
The El
have my
Destructo.
El Destructo, yeah, Annie.
Oh
And
my God.
I have walked out of
LOLOL.
there with referrals for my clients. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I know that you work in accounting for nonprofits. Hey, what do you recommend for this? And we've struck up conversations and built relationships at the dog park of all
Yeah.
places. I mean, I'll talk to random strangers, y'all. And I have been able to really help my clients get some really powerful resources because of that. I have found contractors, I have found connections, I have found all kinds of different people in my life.
At
And
the
I've
dog
handed out
park.
referrals to other businesses that I know, like Candy. I think people start to expect me to kind of do that now, and doesn't really surprise them that I do it anymore. But it's like, yeah, no, I know the lady who can help you find your next car. I know this, I know that, I know this other person here. Let
Yeah.
me get you their contact information, and being a resource in the community. And then it's amazing how much that energy comes back.
Yes. Everything that we give, everything, and
Mhm.
keep that in mind if you're giving negativity, everything that we give returns to us multiplied, right?
It does.
And it's not going to be from the same person, right? We're going to
No.
get a referral from someone we never even thought about, right? Or we're going to get
Mhm.
someone we never thought about helping us, when
Right.
we need it. But
Mhm.
yeah, you're absolutely right. And I love, what I say to my clients, Haley, is that when you align yourself with your highest values, and obviously both you and I love animals, right? Like,
Mhm.
I give because I love animals and I love children and I want them to be safe. I don't want animals to be euthanized because stupid humans abandoned them, or
Mhm.
stupid humans didn't get them spayed or neutered, right? I
Right.
want animals to be loved and to have a safe home. But when we're aligned with our highest values, which you are when you go to the dog park, guess what? You meet people based on values. And
Mhm.
then the bond that is formed is so much stronger than if you were to, cold call. Oh my God, here I go on cold calling again. But the bond is so much stronger because you have that shared passion and priority.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm a big believer in building network platform reputation
Yes.
and continuing to do it over a period of time, and then sharing my values and my story and that power
Yeah.
of storytelling over time. And I'll tell you honestly, one of the things I do when I'm approached by a coach or a business that wants me to work with them, or I'm just looking for a guy to clean my car, I go out and I Google them and I see
Yeah.
what are the recommendations, like what are his, how is he ranked on Google? Is Google My
Yeah.
Business his friend, or does he have a lot of really crappy reviews on Google My Business?
Yeah.
And more, not just my generation, because I'm in my 50s now, but you know everybody is Googling business owners before they
Yes.
do business with you. They want to know that you are legitimate, that you are actually going to do what you say you're going to do. So it's not
Yes.
just about like shaking somebody's hand and being super impressive, but it's about like showing up every single place that you are online and being really, really consistent, and not just like a bunch of BS, because people can smell BS from 20 miles
Yes.
away.
And you know what? Maybe we won't mention names, but you and I both know who we're talking about. Recently, someone who you had partnered with, and I started getting all these, charges on my card from this
Mm,
person that I had enrolled in something with, right? And then I
yeah.
contacted them and I'm like, hey, and it was like, well, I already refunded that. And I'm like, no, let me send you my statement. And you're billing me on the 20th of every month. No, no, no. It was the principle of the matter. How
Yeah,
dare
that's not
somebody
cool.
take my credit card? seriously, for a one-time event and then continue charging me. And thankfully, I had plenty of funds to cover. It's not that. It was the principle.
It's the ethics of it.
It would setting a session or you coming to a Reiki training, and then suddenly I'm billing you every month.
Mm-hmm.
So sadly, it is a culture of distrust out there. And right now, the distrust is there for a reason.
Well, no, totally. And unfortunately, it needs to be there, because what I'm seeing overall is that if your online presence, and I know who we're talking about, and I'll make a comment about that and about other people. If the online presence is not contiguous, continuous, and on the same message and on the same topic, and if it comes and goes, that tells me something about that business.
Yeah.
And I probably don't want to do business with that business because it's not contiguous, it's not consistent, it's not contiguous. And, shame on me for ever talking to people in the first place, because that consistency is so important, right? And I think a lot of times, people don't think about that consistency. If you disappear for 3 to 6 months, is really going to come back to bite you in the butt, especially in the online world, because people are going to Google you and they're going to be like, where were you? Did you have a good reason for being gone or not?
And sometimes there is a good reason, somebody died or, you had a health challenge. But in that case, I mean, there are ways to signal that without telling everything, right? There are ways to explain that to your email list without throwing all your cards on the table and, but yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, what I have learned, about marketing and about business is that if it's not consistent, a lot of times there's a problem. There's a big problem.
Yeah.
And, woe be unto me if I don't notice that lack of consistency and call it.
And you know what, Haley? How many serial entrepreneurs have we seen? SERIAL, right? Who start with one business and then suddenly a year later, it's another business and then it's another business. I've seen this over and over. And so even if you morph your business somewhat, make sure you keep your branding, your branding colors, your personality, your way that you communicate, keep it all and try to pull from what you did before so that somebody doesn't
show like
is Haley now like a pole dancer when before she was a tech mess fixer. You know what I'm saying?
Right now. And exactly. So like if you are, for instance,
I think you froze.
Yeah. But if you're on LinkedIn, you have that opportunity to show your entire job history. So if you have pivoted your business and changed your business, you actually get to show that end date, begin date, like, hey, I did that. Yeah. There is no reason why you shouldn't have recommendations for every single one of those things you've done. And you can even show a progression over time. Like I can show you a progression over time from engineer in 2005 and doing code to, working in high tech, to getting my MBA at Duke, to starting businesses, and the recommendations and the endorsements that I've collected along the way. And if I look at your LinkedIn profile and you tell me how much work you've been doing on it, and there's gaps, a mile wide in it, then I know that that's a problem. And here's the thing, people do look. People do check those things. And, if you are not consistent everywhere online that you show up, that's going to be a problem.
And the consistency is even the photograph you use, right? It's so many things. Like, don't use a million different photographs. So somebody's like, well, is that the same person? I don't know. Oh, don't use a million different names. I have 4 legal names. I go by Barnsley Brown or Dr. Barnsley Brown, right? So nobody usually knows my first name or my divorced name. I kept it so I could travel with my daughter, right? And we'd have the same name on our passports, but nobody knows that. So keep it consistent, Consistency creates trust. Consistency creates, think about it. When Coke tried to do Coke Zero and they totally messed it up, right? Totally messed it up. And people
Well, the
didn't
new
buy it.
Coke
Yeah, the new Coke. That's what I mean. Yeah,
back
they
in
messed it up.
86.
Nobody got it.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted it. We want
No.
that white and red. We want that can. Even when I was in Mole Pololi, Botswana, doing volunteer work, Haley, years ago, that white and red can, even though it tasted different in Mole Pololi, that white and red can was my reward every Saturday walking down to the tiny Mole Pololi hotel,
Mhm.
But I knew I would get my Diet Coke, right? Consistency is huge. So let me ask you something else. And I really appreciate you coming on. We just came on and started to have this conversation, but I
Yeah,
think
we
it's
just
a
talked in.
powerful one. It's a powerful one because we've already talked about, how important it is to be consistent, how important your branding is. We've talked about your networking, that you be networking in ways that are authentic, that you not
Mhm.
be cards at people. Don't go up to Haley, have you had people come up to you when you're talking to somebody and just hand you a card? I have more times than I would like to say.
Mhm.
You
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
real relationships trump any of this BS that
Right.
folks want to do, because the BS is all about this. It's about, what can I get from you? What can I get
Mhm.
from you? But real networking, the kind of networking that sticks, that makes you unforgettable, that makes you someone that people love, is that you are a giver. You're a
Mhm.
giver. You're someone who doesn't really care whether or not they engage with you, whether or not they buy from you, but you're a giver. And I had this experience recently. I'll just share this real quickly, where I had gone to an International Coach Federation event, and I sat down at this table, and this woman was like, "You're Barnsley Brown." And oh, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh no, what did I do? Because you know me, I'm a little bit of a free spirit, or maybe a lot. And I said, yeah, I'm Barnsley Brown. And she's like, you know what? Like 10 years ago, I went to an event and I was just starting out in coaching. And you came outside with me and you talked with me for like 45 minutes and just shared all these ideas and secrets that you had used. And then I remembered who she was. I was like, oh, cool. But it was this wonderful, like, hug from the universe of, the appreciation.
Done
And
right.
you may never hear from somebody what a big difference you made from them. I just happened to hear because there she was at my table. But she's saying this in front of everybody at the table, right? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And it just made me feel so good. But when I gave that time to her, my desire was that she would be successful as a coach. It wasn't about, what can I get from this person?
Yeah,
That's all the
absolutely.
difference in the world.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I do that all the time with people. A lot of times,
Yeah.
people are scared to get on a one-to-one with me because they're afraid I'm going to do the hard sell. Y'all, you either want my services or
Or
you
you
don't.
don't.
I mean,
Yeah.
or you don't. I'm not here to sell you anything. I mean, there's a reason my close rates are as high as they are. Like, if you actually need a website,
Yeah.
I'm your girl. But a lot of times we're talking, strategy and ideas and stuff. Like tonight, somebody approached me and I was like, hey, have you tried these 3 things? Before we ever even start getting, off the rails, like looking at, updating stuff on your website and doing stuff left, right, and center, are you doing some of the basic stuff before we even, look at like tech fixes? Because if the basic stuff isn't covered, then there's no reason for Haley to be talking about doing ad spend or additional like social media stuff
Right.
if that's
Yeah.
not where you're at. So I need to know too, right? And being able to give you the resources you need where you are. And that's part of why I've done like my YouTube channel, and I've done a lot of the resources that I put out there at free, low cost, some at cost kind
Yeah.
of a thing, just to try to get you to that point in your business, because a lot of people don't necessarily want $1 million a year business. That's
Yeah.
great. And here are some inexpensive resources or free ones.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm so clear, Haley, that if we don't have one-on-ones with people, and if we don't offer them the opportunity to enroll with us, we're actually depriving them of something that they need. And
Oh,
what
absolutely.
I do is I help big-hearted women entrepreneurs 10x or more their income and their impact. And, there's no hard sell about it. However, I will stand firm for somebody to actually go for their dream.
Mhm.
And that's the thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I will stand firm for that. And sometimes I'm just like, you may think I'm an asshole, but I'm going to stand for you to have this, because you're telling me you're like 58 years old and you've always wanted this business, and you're still working at this job that you despise. And how much time do you really think you have left to
Right.
give this passion, this purpose that you have to the world?
Right. Well, and are you making forward progress or not? And
Yeah.
are you really serious about this or not? Because if you're
Yeah.
not serious, that's great. But are you being honest with yourself? I posted a
Right.
thing today that, 95% of people think that they have self awareness.
Mm. 95%? Oh, Lord.
95% of people think that they are self aware,
Did you
right?
say 85 or 95?
95. Let me
That's
go
what I
pull up the
thought you said.
stat
And I'm like,
for you.
are you kidding me? WTF?
Yeah, 95%. Research shows that although
Whoa.
95% of people think that they're self aware, only 10 to 15% actually are. And I find that that is absolutely true. And
Well, I'm
here's
putting
the
this in the
thing.
comments.
Yeah. And I posted a link to the article on my personal profile on my creator page, and I'll post this in the private chat for you as well. But here's
Mm.
the reality that you run into with a lot of people. You either want it or you don't. And it's going to be hard and it's going to be painful if you decide that you don't want it, because you're going to have to let go of your dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going to be painful if you decide to go for your dream. Choose your pain. Which one are you going to do?
Right. Do you want to get to the end of your life and think, I wish I had? Why didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I never went for it. Or do you want to try and hit the bumps that are going to be there along the road? Good Lord. In my 22 and a half years of business, there have been times that I totally bombed. And that's the thing I love to share with my clients is I'm like, look, I'm going to share all my bombings with you so you don't have to do it. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason we have coaches. That's the reason we have experts who are supporting us, is so that we don't make the same mistakes, so that we avoid them, so that our path is easier, so that our path is flowing and not filled with bumps. But where do you want to be? Do you want to be that person who says, I wish I had? Or do you want to be that person who says, you know what? Here's what I did. This was freaking adventurous. Freaking
Mm-hmm.
adventurous. Here's what I did. Here's how I did it. Yeah, this part didn't pan out, but then I adjusted. And here's what happened. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, Haley, something fun I'm doing, and then I want to hear something adventurous you're doing, and we'll wrap, because I know we didn't intend for this to go for so long, but it's great talking with you. I love what we're talking about, and I appreciate you just coming on spur of the moment. So I decided last weekend, I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, I'm too much in comfort zone. Everything's going well. It's all good. It's moving forward. The foot's on the gas and not on the gas and the brake. But I'm in comfort zone. And I had had someone come to my house who was French, right? And then I had heard from a cousin of mine who was in France, and she's married to a Frenchman for many years, and they had just purchased a chateau and were fixing it up. And of course, I studied in France years ago. And then the clincher was, I got an email that was about a seminar in France. And I looked at the date. I looked at my calendar. I was like, yeah, I can make that work. Signed up, paid it. Actually, I hit the button twice by mistake. So I paid twice. Thankfully, they gave me the appropriate refund. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. I'm going. And I'm taking my daughter. And we'll see how this goes. But it was so clear. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, the universe, whatever you'd like to call it, source, the universe, your guidance, is giving you messages, but we're not paying attention. And if we start to pay attention, we can find that whatever rut we've been in or whatever comfort zone we've been in, there's something more.
Always.
A level up, a level in. Yeah, always. So, Haley, what's been something recently that you've done that's gutsy? Because I know you're gutsy.
Lots of things. I have up-leveled my team.
Yeah.
I have a new CMO. I have a new COO.
Yeah.
And we have up-leveled some serious clients. And we are doing, actually, one of the cool things we're doing this fall is we're doing our first in-person retreat on a cruise, October 22nd through the 29th on Harmony of the Seas. It is a branding cruise.
Harmony
we are doing it's a branding cruise.
No, Harmony, what's the title?
Harmony of the Seas is the cruise ship that we're going on.
Oh,
it's a
okay,
Royal Caribbean.
Gotcha. Sorry, I thought that was the title. Oh, yeah, that's a great cruise ship.
It's a branding cruise, and we're literally bringing along a photographer and a videographer, and we're working on your brand for a week, getting the photos, getting your candid shots, getting your, fun, inspirational shots, whether it's on the beach or by the pool or standing in the pool at night or whatever your thing is. And also, we are bringing along a videographer so that we can record your speaker reel in front of an audience.
I love that.
Because that is one of the things that I see people who are speakers struggling with the most. They have all of these videos from themselves doing lives and speaking opportunities online, but getting an actual video of yourself speaking is so incredibly hard. So we're going to do that. We're going to pull it off during the 7-night cruise with a videographer, and we will know that we have got you set.
I tried to put that up in here. Did it go into the comments? I hope it did.
It did.
Okay, good. It's not showing on mine, but it's October 22nd through 29th.
29th. Yep.
I love it. Maybe y'all need another speaker. We should talk.
We should talk. Yeah.
We should talk.
It's all about branding.
Yeah. And I have something that is about branding. I have a seminar I've done forever about branding that makes people think about every single element of their presentation of who they are. And it comes down to everything from who you hire. That's a part of your branding, to the colors you wear, to the education you have, to the associations and groups you're part of. I mean, there is so much to it, even the vehicle you drive, right? And people don't think about these things. You know how it becomes, it was consistent, chiseling away, consistency over time with what she cared about most, with the causes she cared about most, and just what was aligned with her values, and bringing that into forms such as her magazine, such as her TV stuff, such as her movies, all of this coming together, but coming together as a collection, not as disparate elements that are sort of spread out. And you're like, what the heck?
Oh, you mean consistency of presentation everywhere?
Yeah.
Crazy thought.
Everywhere. She showed up as her, right? Yeah. And she was clear, and she is clear about what she stands for, right? And that's the most important thing, is that people understand, not have, your brand could be what somebody perceives you to be. So it's very important to have what's on the inside of you be congruent with what's on the outside of you.
And not try to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Or like somebody else, or copy somebody else's messaging.
Yes. Or
their languaging, or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that. We'll drop the link in there, Haley, drop the link there so they can find out about the branding cruise. And you all are going out of which port?
We're going out of Miami.
Nice. Tons of cheap flights to Miami from all over.
Exactly.
That
was why we did it.
I love that. And,
easy peasy.
the nice thing is that when they go, right, when business owners go, it's a tax write-off because they're doing professional
Mm,
development. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's,
speak to your CPA because I'm not a CPA. I'm just an MBA. But this is one of those things where it is absolutely the entire thing is a business expense.
you have to have a certain number of hours, but because, to make it a business expense, I've spoken on cruises, by the way, Haley, you have to have a certain number of hours. But the beautiful thing is you've got it all set up to be a 7-day thing. So, if it was just them going for like one day or one afternoon, that wouldn't be a business write-off. And, obviously if they take family members, that's not a business write-off for the family member, but heck to the, yeah, why not go? Where are you all going? Just out of curiosity.
St. Martin, St. Thomas, and then Royal Caribbean's private island, Coco Key.
Woohoo! Nice.
So there's going to be, both. It'll be fun, and I'm hoping some excellent opportunities for some photos, on the water, on the beach, those kind of things as well. To really bring out some more fun, casual branding photos, not just like, super formal photos, but like part of the reason doing a cruise ship is so good is you have a variety of different backdrops, a variety of different environments. You have libraries, you have restaurants, you have all kinds of different things that you can use as your backdrop. You have stages, you have all kinds of different ways that you can choose to present yourself very easily in a way that it would be almost impossible to replicate in any other environment.
Yeah, I think it would be. And you also have the other people who are on the cruise. And so I know you're going to have some people who have great reputations, right? So when somebody who's, say, new in business takes a picture with that person, that gives them instant credibility. Like they are in a sphere of influence with that individual.
Absolutely.
So it's the perfect setup. Well, listen, thank you for spending your time with us. Please drop, if you haven't already, because I can't see for some reason.
Yeah, I can't do it in here. I've got a landing page that I will go and find the link to that I'm just not able to do while we're live, but I will go find that and go drop it.
But if you can just even put your website in here, in the comments, that would be great. Okay. Just drop your website. And I'm assuming that you also have a freebie. Everyone who goes to my site, by the way, and I'll pop mine up here, can get my wonderful ebook that is fun and info rich, How to Overcome Overwhelm in 7 Easy Steps. Help yourself, share it with others. There's a lot of overwhelm in the world. And Haley, what do you have for people? I know you have lots of goodies for folks at your website.
I have a free copy of my book, Fearless Marketing, Your 8-Figure Business Blueprint. What I tell a lot of people is that if you get the book, download it, read it, mark it up with a highlighter, actually do the steps in the Blinken book, because it doesn't do you any good to download the book and never actually take a look at it. Most of my clients who read the book, or friends, or anybody who reads the book, will tell you that they are able to save themselves tens of thousands of dollars in frustration with their marketing. So I'm going to put it here. Is a link to it. It's the first link on the page, but there's a bunch of other amazing gifts on that page. If you can copy it out of private chat, I can't put it in the comments here on StreamYard. Because of how StreamYard works.
Let's see. Let me go over to private chat. Hold on. Where did my private chat go? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. All right. So let me pop both of these things over there that you put up.
And then people can check out stuff and, get some amazing gifts for their business.
Hopefully this will work. Let's see. Did it go? Looks like it.
Did.
I put both things. I just cut and paste the whole thing. All right. Well, Haley, wonderful to talk to you tonight. Let's network.
Thank you
Let's
so much.
share who we are really. Let's be on purpose. Let's be givers. Let's truly
Yeah.
care about what we do and who we help.
Yeah.
And let's not be the slimies.
Right? Yeah. Let's avoid the slimy thing.
Yeah. No, no slimies. Slimies are for, reptiles and I don't know what, your pet snake, but not for business. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. We'll do it again. And everybody be sure to share this video so that you can let others know about the special branding retreat that's coming up. That will be a great opportunity for people in business. And a tax write-off. Oh my goodness, go on a cruise
Right?
and take a tax write-off. Oh my God. And
How
St.
cool is that?
Thomas, St. Martin, the private island of Norwegian. These are great places. I've been to those. I haven't been to the private island of Norwegian, right?
It's
But
Royal
I have
Caribbean.
other private islands. Yeah. So get your butt onto this and join, and feel free to avail yourselves of the freebies that we put up in the comments. And thank you for liking and sharing this video, which is, by the way, Haley, my first time interviewing somebody through the StreamYard platform. I do a lot of, broadcasting myself, just me, but thank you for being my first interview just on the spur of the moment. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Everybody have an amazing evening. Share it. Lots of love to you, and be the giver. Dr. Barnsley Brown and Haley Gray, Tech Mess Fixer, signing off now.